Welcome back to Senior Savvy Cannabis. I'm Katherine Goldberg. Today, we're going to take a step back and talk about health in a broader perspective. In my opinion, all of health comes down to quality of life, right? You want to feel good enough so that you can do the things you want to do, whether that's work with less pain, play with your grandchildren, sleep better, lose weight, gain weight, whatever it is, you want something that's going to aid in your goals instead of taking away from your goals, right? This is where I believe cannabis fits in. So, if you're new here, welcome. You're in good company. We've got 50,000 other subscribers who, like you, want to use cannabis to be the best version of themselves. And it's not impossible, but you have to know what you're looking for. We've talked about this trend of super high THC at the cost of everything else, cannabis. If you've gone into a dispensary, you've probably seen 27% THC, 32% THC, and 0% CBD. I think this has done a insane disservice to people who use cannabis. I don't want to say medically, but I want to say maybe not recreationally. The people I work with through Savvy Relief, to be honest, don't want to get high. They just want to feel better. And what I enjoy most is finding the right product for the right person at the right time. So that's kind of what I want to share with you guys today. We'll take that three-pronged approach. So, in terms of health, right, and quality of life, we have pain, mood, and sleep. When one of these pillars is out of whack, life is harder, right? There's more friction. It's harder to feel good, to get things done, to do what you want to do. When two of these things are out of whack, like it's a lot worse. And if all three are, then you've probably contacted me through Savvy Relief and are at your wits' end and willing to try anything. So again, I'm not a doctor. I am just absolutely fascinated by how cannabis works from a biological perspective and how cannabis can work to help people live in less pain, to have an easier, lighter, more buoyant mood, to sleep better, right? These are not crazy things. And if you're looking for someone to talk about how to get like the highest, this is not the channel for you. We're not the people for you. There are other groups out there, I'm positive, who prioritize THC content over everything. It's not us. I'd rather work backwards and figure out your goals and figure out the right products to get there. Okay. So many of this is actually what I found most interesting. So I've been working one-on-one with a handful of you guys for about a year now, and no one has come saying that they're using cannabis for the first time and want to get started. Every single person who's reached out has said, I've literally tried everything. I've tried everything. I've tried everything. The bud tenders, like every week, it's a new vape, a new eighth, a new strain. There are 101 choices of weed. Like, why aren't any of them working? And like, why is it not consistent when it does work? So this is where cannabis gets interesting. When I'm working with people for quality of life issues, not because they just want to relax and get high, I don't suggest smoking weed. Um, I don't think the stuff that's being sold in the dispensaries are is necessarily as clean as it needs to be. I've talked about the connection between smoking anything and increased heart disease, so that's why we talk about using a vaporizer. But it just sounds like we've gotten to a point where people are like, I'm not going to buy another vape because it just doesn't work. So that's why I was so thrilled over the summer when I interviewed the Emerald Bay Extracts people. And that company was started by an oncology nurse who knew about Rick Simpson oil, right? This cannabis extract that's made with alcohol. Rick Simpson published how to do it. theoretically, if you live somewhere legal, anyone could make Rick Simpson oil. The thing is, it's very sticky and thick and strong, and it's not easy to integrate into your life in a reliable way, in my opinion. And what Emerald Bay Extracts did, and I don't know how, and this is why we pay for it, is they figured out how to take raw cannabis flower, use the Rick Simpson extraction method, and then turn it into pills. So you just take a pill in the morning, you take a pill in the afternoon, and you take a pill at supper time. That was like a theme song, right? From a long time ago. Anyway, um, I believe we have reached a point where I wish smoking a joint just helped everyone, that it solved everyone's problems. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't. And we need something more precise and exact and consistent. So going back to these three pillars of health, the way I kind of look at it is, right, so you have mood management, you have pain management, and you have sleep management. And of course, they all feed into each other because when you're not sleeping, your mood is worse and your pain is worse. When your pain is worse, your mood is worse and you're not sleeping, right? There's this vicious cycle, right? So again, I'm all about the right product for the right thing, right? Whatever the ailment is that we're trying to figure out. So I have a couple of my clients trying an experiment. They've talked to their doctors about this, but we're trying one pill a day of three different kinds of RSO. So, and I'll break this down for you. So, especially because most of my clients, and I've said this, they don't want to get high and they don't want to smoke. And that means they're left with, let's say, a brownie, and I don't know how a brownie can be incorporated into a wellness program. A brownie is a great treat, but it's not like something one should be eating, I think, consist every single day for the sake of medicine. Um, so with that said, like this is just my philosophy and what I've noticed with myself and doing all this research and working with people for a decade on this. So CBD won't get you high, but it will, in some people, elevate your mood. Not ecstatically, not in any really noticeable way, but by way of reducing the baseline inflammation, it allows more serotonin to be available for you to feel better. So it seems like if these three pillars of wellness are out of whack, starting with like a CBD regimen would be great. And by the way, two things I'm going to say. The reason this CBD works and the CBD you buy online does not work is because this CBD is made from cannabis and it has a tiny, tiny bit of THC in it. Um, the hemp-derived CBD, like, sure, try it, but don't hold your breath. Um, and if you don't want to waste money, maybe just don't do that. Second point, I agree. It's absolutely ridiculous that these are only sold in California. They can't ship these to another legal state. For that to happen, cannabis would need to be completely descheduled, not moved from one schedule to the next, completely descheduled. Um, because no one should have to make a medical pilgrimage to Los Angeles to buy weed pills that don't get you high. Like, this is ridiculous, right? This is totally ridiculous. Especially if you live somewhere where, like, let's say you live in Florida or New York, weed is legal there. But because these are made in California and because they're not a multi-state operator, you can't have them. And hopefully, I'm hoping that if you're watching this and you're frustrated, that you at least tell the bud tenders at your dispensary and say, hey, like I heard in California, they have these RSO pills. Can we have them here? I don't know. It seems like a good first step because I think people just don't know. So more like crappy products are entering the market. Like I don't need another gummy brand. I don't need another pina colada vape. I need CBG pills to be available everywhere where weed is legal. I don't think it's asking that much. It doesn't even get you high. So, okay, that's my rant. And it is really frustrating because like people are addicted to opioids and sleeping pills. And like there's a plant that has helped these issues. And I'm not saying it's going to completely fix everything 1,000%, but if you can reduce your pain by a teeny tiny bit or increase your mood by a teeny tiny bit, that can have really major results on your quality of life, which is what this comes down to. So great. Okay, so what I'm some of my savvy relief clients are doing is first thing in the morning with their coffee, they take the CBD pill, right? And of course, they've talked to their doctors about this to make sure it's safe. I'm not a doctor. Okay. Um, it won't get you high, but it will reduce inflammation. In the afternoon, when your pain starts to act up, these CBG pills that I've talked about multiple times have really promising results. I don't want to say it fixes anything, of course, but I will say that a lot of the people who are trying it for various conditions, for migraines, for neuropathy, um, are saying that it helps. There was one person who was using it for foot pain, and then after using it, went to the gym to walk on the treadmill. So it could help. Um, I would love to see, people use CBG as a pain pill and have scientists monitor it over the course of 10 years and see what the results are because that data doesn't exist. But anecdotally, people say that the CBG does in fact help reduce their pain a little bit. The third pillar of health is sleep, right? And yeah, a lot of people do get the relief they need from taking one puff of a joint or eating one sleep gummy, and that's awesome. If you don't want to inhale weed and you also don't want to eat a gummy before bed, um, Emerald Bay made this new sleep formula that I hadn't seen before until I went into that dispensary from last week's episode. And this is a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio. So one part THC, one part CBD, and one part CBN. CBN is not a separate cannabinoid, it's just THC that has been changed over time because of oxygen, and it makes it more sedative. So the weed that's been sitting on the shelf for the past year has a lot of CBN in it. I don't like that weed because it makes me tired. But if you're using it for a sleep formula, then you're onto something. What I also like about this sleep formula more so than the RSO indica pills is that the indica pills are 25 milligrams of THC. It's a lot. That's a lot. So many people do report to sleeping really, really well, but they are out of it the next day. And you got to weigh it for yourself, but that doesn't seem worth it to me. So the fact that this is 1 to 1 to 1 and it's about 8.3 milligrams of each. So that's halfway between that's like a gummy. That's like right under a gummy. So that seems like a good ratio for to get to sleep, but to not feel high and to wake up feeling refreshed. So, okay, that scared me. Um, okay, cool. So I hope that this has been an interesting conversation into how I think about wellness, especially when it comes to seniors. And it really just comes down to quality of life. Are you able to do what you want to do and feel good doing it? That's all we're going after. And I don't think it's impossible because I know for a fact it's not. And I just want these pills to be able to be sold like any other product in the world, where even though they're made in California, someone who lives in Texas could order them. Like, hopefully, in a year from now, we'll say, wasn't that silly when you like couldn't, back. Anyway, I think that's where we are now. And I'm thankful I have access to them. I wish people didn't have to come out to California just to stock up, but that's where we are. So if you found this interesting and you'd like to see more RSO options in your dispensary, tell the bud tenders. Ask the manager who you can send an email to. let's like make this like the weed 3.0, like we did the underground market, and then we did in 2016 was when it became legalized and got really bad. And now, 10 years later, like let's get a little bit more scientific about it. Let's get a little bit more precise so we can get the results we want. And if Emerald Bay Extracts is listening, which I think they are because I really like them, um, we want a THC-V one next. We want one for energy and we want one for weight loss. Um, so I'll let you know when that happens because I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, thanks for joining us, and I hope you found this helpful. We'll be back next week.